We are on location. This is an episode we have not done before. We could not be more excited. Welcome to this episode of Beauties Sports.
Doesn't matter if you're an athlete, parent, coach, or just a fan of the game. Everyone's welcome at Beauties Sports, baby. Let's go.
In pure Addie and Cowie fashion, we're just doing it.
We're winging it.
We're just winging it. We're just out here, and I'm ready to have a good time.
Yeah, me too. It was, that's probably one of my favorite things about this podcast is we never really turn down an opportunity unless we just logistically cannot make it happen. And this episode is really a prime example of why we are in doing what we're doing is we showed up to a venue, and the next thing we know, we're packing our stuff the next morning, and we're going to interview, I think, 8 people today.
Yeah, we are gonna run a format like we've never had before.
Yep.
We are going to have multiple people come in and talk about their life, their experiences, things that have happened that have kept them in sports and physically active their whole life. Today is going to be a whirlwind. It's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. So for those of you who are listening and not watching this visual either on social media or on YouTube, we are currently set up in a new location. We are in an arena. We are in the Hockey for All Center, Scotiabank Hockey for All Center here in Winnipeg. And we have the pleasure of being joined by members of our Canadian Armed Forces. So this episode is a fun one. It's a 4-team tournament. So we are going to have women from each of the 4 teams throughout the course of the next, we're going to call it hour for you in this episode. And I'm really excited. It's an area of life that I am not super familiar with, but I love the fact that sports is what is going to bring us together to learn more about our armed forces and to talk to these women about their experiences, both with that and with sports.
I couldn't agree more on the premise of this is what sports is.
Yeah.
This brings people together, and we're going to have women from all over the country today that are, serving our country, and they're all here playing a sport that they love. And now we get the opportunity to talk to them.
Exactly.
Such a full circle experience. It's going to be so much fun.
Exactly. So we aren't going to spend a ton of time here. We just want to make sure that we premise this off the hop. But before we end up forgetting throughout the course of this day to plug, the best way for you to share this episode and share previous episodes of Beauty Sports is by going on to wherever you listen to this, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and leaving us a rating, 5 stars only, and a review. That is the best way to share this, to allow other people who may not know who we are or what we're doing to find this episode. If you do not already, make sure to head on over to Instagram and follow us at Beauty Sports Talk. You can follow Addie at Addie Miles Abbott. You can follow me at Cowie14. And that is another good way of engaging with us. We just had a message yesterday from a mom who's got daughters in hockey and who's listening to the podcast. And those sort of things definitely warm our heart and make us feel good. Reassure that we're on the right track and onto something. So make sure you go and do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And while you're there, if you want to go over to the merch store, you can see Cowie's got a nice hat on, the new Buckies we got going on, hoodies, we got t-shirts, we got it all for you there. So if you want to get some Beauties merch as well, we'd appreciate you heading over to our shop.
Yeah, so make sure you head on over to beautysports.com/shop. You can peruse around the website. That's always changing and growing. And yeah, we're pretty excited about some of the options that are up on the merch store. Again, if you have thoughts and suggestions, it's kind of a little passion project of mine. Something I like to do is putter around and make some cool designs. So if you hate the merch that's up there, don't tell me, tell Addie, because that'll break my heart. But if you have thoughts and ideas of things that you'd like to see, the opportunities really are endless. So make sure to plug those into our Instagram so that we can make sure we do our job to put stuff up there that people want.
That's right. And the one thing too that goes with everything that we're trying to do, the more people engage with our content, the more the people buy merch, it allows us to continue to be able to do amazing events like this. So by helping us, it allows us to continue spreading this incredible message. So without further ado, we cannot wait for you to meet these incredible women. And all their, I'm just so excited. I can't even. And all their stories. It's going to be unreal.
Same thing. Enjoy the episode. All right. So like we said off the intro, we're jacked to get to learn. You know, that's what today is for us, is an episode about learning, because as we said to you two ladies off the hop, we don't know much about the Canadian Armed Forces. So right off the hop here, give us an intro. Who are you? Where do you come from?
My name is Master Corporal Alex Capt. I'm a medical technician in the Canadian Army. I was born in Saskatchewan, mostly raised in Victoria, BC, and I'm now posted to Edmonton.
Very cool.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, I'm Master Corporal Jena Holmes. I'm a materials management tech. I grew up in Sudbury, Ontario, just outside of Sudbury, Ontario. And I've kind of been all over the place with my husband now. We're a service couple, so we've been from East Coast out to now Edmonton.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's sorry, because it just absolutely blows my mind when you talk to people and they're like, we've been here. It's like, you've seen the whole country. Like, it's insane.
Sure beats my story. Alicia Callison, I grew up in Sarris, Manitoba, 2.5 hours from here. Yeah. I've lived in Winnipeg for 12 years.
Yeah. I live 10 minutes down the road.
Yeah, exactly. I live 4 lights from this facility.
Yeah.
No, I think that's awesome. And I think a good place for us to start, because this is the top of the show, and we're going to assume there's going to be some listeners that know as little about the armed forces as we do. Yeah. So talk to us about what got you here. Did you grow up in a military family, or what was your draw? And we'll start with you, Alex, of what your draw was to get into the armed forces.
I have kind of taken like a bit of a weaving path through careers and life and stuff. I have a music degree and I have an education degree. So I'm supposed to be like middle school, high school band teacher. And then I kind of like ran away from the real world and wanted to go traveling and stuff. And then I came back and was like, all right, I should probably work and, you know, be a grown up. And I was working with disabled adults. And then I thought like, maybe I'll go back to school and be a social worker, or maybe I'll go back to school and be a nurse, or maybe I'll like keep avoiding the real world and just be a student. And my now ex, but my partner at the time, suggested I join the Army because they would pay for me to go to school. Yeah. And I joined as a medical technician, as a medic, thinking that would be like step one, and then maybe I would go into nursing. And I ended up really liking what I do. Being a medic, I'm like half paramedic, half nurse, half social worker. So I get to do a lot of stuff, and I'm for the rank level that I'm at, I'm responsible for a lot of stuff, and I've gotten to do a lot of stuff. So so I kind of took like a real twisty turny way into the forces.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Are you, Jena? Are you similar? Are you?
I started off. Yeah, I started off as PSP, which is we manage all the like fitness and all of that for the military. So when I was 19, I ended up doing a co-op out of school with the military base in North Bay, and then met my husband there. We moved out to Greenwood together. So he's been in the military since 2009. Okay. So I've always been like a D&D civilian employee. And then after a couple postings, you kind of have to wait out and hope that there are positions available for you there. It's not like the military, you don't get posted into a position. And then eventually I thought, why not just join myself? And so I joined in 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, 2017.
So more recently-ish.
More recently, yeah. And I sometimes wish I joined sooner, but I had a lot of like great fitness experience working with the military before that, doing a bunch of fun stuff. So
that is so cool, because one of the things yesterday, so we came, and honestly, we were just coming to watch, and we came, and that was the one thing I said to you, Addie, was like, I feel silly saying it, how little I actually know about the armed forces, but it never, I'll be honest, never even crossed my mind. And I live actually in relative proximity, like the Shiloh base. I played hockey growing up at Shiloh all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not like it was completely foreign in the fact that I didn't know where it was or what it was. Yeah. But it never once crossed my mind to even pursue anything within the armed forces.
It's a totally different world.
Yeah.
And it's such an easy like conversation starter. Like, hey, what base are you posted to? Like you don't ever ask where someone's from, because they're from like 12 different places. But like, where are you posted? And what trade are you? What's your job? And then like, everyone has that. You can relate to each other. Yeah. And then it's an easy way to make new friends, and it's an easy conversation. Yeah.
So where's home for you?
Victoria, BC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have like a home base too? Like, would you consider, or just wherever you?
No, I think even more so than Alex, I have a home base. So my dad's a police officer in Sudbury. Mom works for the bank, and they still live in my childhood home.
Okay.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
where
me
we
too.
grew up. Super lucky. We grew up on a lake, so every winter, my dad made us a rink. I have 2 younger sisters, and that's kind of how we've been on skates since probably
very
around
fun.
close to the same time that we could walk.
Yeah, because for us being able to chat before and learn, about the event that we're at and that you've been skating your whole life and then it's something that you were able to pick up later on because of this. It's like, so you grew up in a hockey family, like would you say?
Multi-sport family, yeah. So we did ringette, hockey, track and field. Went to a really small high school, so we actually had the luxury of we got to play a lot of sports, and a lot of the women went and played like soccer, flag football, because if we didn't, there wasn't a team, right? It was such a small school.
That's my life, man.
Yeah.
That's my life. We talked about this on the podcast before, where I'm like pros and cons of a small town. Well, pro and con that you never get cut, so you don't know what it feels like to get cut.
That's it.
But you never get cut. So
Yeah.
you play all the things.
Yeah, no, huge multi-sport family though. Like anything we could play, we played. Yeah.
I love that. And 2 sisters, younger?
Two younger sisters.
And all into sports.
All into sports.
Love it.
My
Are
middle
the-
sister is she actually played Team Canada ringette.
Oh, we just had a ringette Team Canada player on the podcast a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
Brett
Brett.
Van New Hammerhagen.
Oh my god, yeah. My sister.
The fact that you
plays with
remember her name is
That's a
unbelievable.
small world.
Yeah, we've had in recent episodes, we've had like the hardest last names we've had
Yeah.
on the podcast, and that one stuck.
Yeah, that one
Yeah,
was a
you
good
remember
one.
Hagen.
Yeah,
Yes.
Brett was fantastic.
That is my sister's teammate. Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on.
So what's your sister's
Small
name?
world. Erica Kiviaho is her
Okay,
name.
there
Yeah.
you go. Shout out Erica. We're
we
connecting
go.
the ringette world.
That
That is super fun.
But that's what sports is.
Yes.
Honestly, like that's what we were saying off the top of the show. We're like, the fact that we're here right now is all due to sports,
amazing.
right?
Yeah.
That's very cool. So let's talk about your sports. Well, I guess you were music. You're a
A
music
bit of both. I was kind of like the band geek and the sport geek.
I love it.
Yeah. So I grew up in a family that like no one was interested in sports at all except me. I grew up as a swimmer. So
very cool.
Yeah. I've been on some swim team or other since I was a little kid. And as an adult, I've done some like ultra marathon swims. I held the world record for about 5 years.
Hey yo, that's a first on the pod.
Okay.
Yeah. I swam 94.7 kilometers.
Oh my Christmas.
What?
That's wild. I did not know that.
Yeah.
How about you?
That's gonna be a new saying. Oh my Christmas.
Well,
That's
I feel
insane.
like
Yeah. And then my family's really, I think like always into volunteering and community stuff. So we never played like expensive sports. We never played like league sports, but we always played school sports.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's free.
Yeah.
Right. And then, so like I never played sports when I was really little. I was a swimmer, but I dabbled in baseball and I dabbled in soccer but then like joining the military, it's the same kind of thing. Like it's free sports. They want you to play sports. They want you to be fit. They want you to be part of a team and healthy. And so that's totally, totally normal to me. It's just like, oh, there's this sport that's offered and they will give me a free baseball bat and I can go like, it's provided.
Yeah,
right? So
that's
that's
right.
kind of my experience. But yeah, I was on skates when I was 2 years old, but I never got to play hockey.
I see.
I'm old and there wasn't really girls hockey when I was little. So I kind of missed out. And like, I'm here at this tournament, I'm watching all these girls that are like 20 years younger than me. And it's just, I'm so proud and so happy that these girls got to play, but there's a little bit of that bittersweet, like, damn it, like in my next life, I will play hockey and I will be actually good at this.
Was the military your like first, you got equipment and your first like organized hockey game? Okay.
Yeah. So I joined the military at 30. But like I said, my ex was in the military before I joined, and I would play a little bit. Like I'd go out and play with them. So I started playing hockey when I was 27, 28. Yeah. And went from growing up, like I know the sport. I've watched hockey my whole life. I'm obsessed with hockey, but I never got a chance to play. So putting together like zero skill and a lot of knowledge and then like slowly like, okay, now I can like kind of play.
Right.
You strike me as someone who is, I would call it mildly competitive, if nothing else. Yeah.
I like to try my best.
Fair.
I like to try my best. Yeah.
Was that a frustrating experience to feel like you weren't great?
Yeah. Yeah. Cause like, even like the brain to body, like my brain's like, do this. And my body's like 5 seconds later.
Yeah,
like,
that's
damn
right.
it. You know?
Jenna, did you feel like, I mean, obviously you grew up on skates, you played ringette, you've played hockey. Are you like a little bit of coach mentor in this team or?
Yeah, actually the interesting thing about this team is that we have a handful of players that have played for a number of years. Some that have played college level.
Okay.
Grown up, played at competitive levels. We also have, I want to say, like 5 to 6 players that like either their first time playing organized hockey, first time on skates, first time, like it's the skill levels, like from
mix.
years of experience to this is their first or second year. So it very much is, spending a lot of time mentoring and just teaching the basics. And it's the same thing, like they want to learn and they're super receptive to coaching and they want to know the sport and learn the sport. And it's been really awesome to be part of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, when you think about, I like when you're saying all these different skill levels and stuff, to me, that just makes me so happy in the team sense, right? And I feel like there's a huge team aspect that you can feel also being in the military, right? You guys are one big team, one big family. Yeah. So it's like, even if, you know, you may have a higher ranking, quote unquote, away from the rink, there might be somebody with a lower ranking that's teaching you how to play hockey.
And
like
there's
I find that so,
rank in sport.
I find that so fascinating that you have to just learn and talk to each other and communicate. Like,
I mean, as a private and a corporal, I was coaching the swim team. And there were like lieutenant commanders and majors and warrants. And like these people like completely outrank me. But I'm on the pool deck. I'm the coach. I'm the boss. And right. And it gives me confidence.
Absolutely.
And there's no rank in sports.
No.
Yeah, so
I love it.
Let's pause because I'm going to assume someone else's ears other than mine don't know what you just.
I was just going to say, we break this down.
Give us the ranking in that conversation.
Sure. So there's kind of like the troops and the officers, and like way back in like the 1700s, 1800s, that was like you were rich or you had an education and you were like grunt labor. It's not quite that way now. Okay. Like I have 2 degrees, but I'm still one of the troops, right?
Okay.
But it's basically like you drive a desk, you organize people, you manage stuff, you have those responsibilities, or you're like doing physical work, doing the technical work, doing the job, right? So that's kind of like the officers and the troops. Yeah. And it's, if you want me to like go through the whole thing, it's like, there's like private, corporal, master corporal, and then sergeant, warrant, master warrant, chief warrant. And those are the soldiers.
Yep.
And then on the other side, you start with like a second lieutenant, captain, major, and then it goes into
all the colonels, generals.
I don't know. After that, you just say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. I don't like, you have some kind of like, lieutenant general, major general, question mark general. I don't care. You just say yes, sir, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, there you go. I love it.
Okay, so in the context of when you come here, has, you know, and you say there's no rank in sport, which I love.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we see that in the different context of just everyday world when it is the equalizer, right? It doesn't matter where you come from. You leave that at the door and you put your gear on and you go to battle.
Yeah.
Has there been any, because it is, and maybe this is just perception, but I would say it is more defined as rank in the military, in the armed forces, than it is anywhere else in any other job.
Yeah.
Is that harder to shelf when you come into the dressing room, in your opinion, or no?
If you're cool, no. If you're one of those people that can't let go, or you don't have a personality, you only have a rank, then you should learn that lesson and just, you're part of the team. But I'd say 95% of people are cool and they want to let go at the end of the day and just go play hockey.
Yeah, I've never had
that rank.
Yeah, I've never had an experience. I've never had a negative experience where someone takes their rank to the dressing room and portrays that as their sports personality as well.
Yeah, that's not cool.
No, it's pretty. It's just we're a group of women that want to play hockey.
I love it.
And just like there's like in the gay world, like we can look back at the generation before us and they've like, you know, paved the way or like broken the ice or done things that makes my life easier.
Sure.
It's the same thing in women's sports. Like I've played hockey. I've overlapped with the previous generation.
Yeah.
I know women who were the first women that said women will play hockey in the military.
Yeah.
Because before it was just men's hockey.
Yeah.
I've played with those women. Right?
Yeah.
And I've played with the women who were like the first ones to be openly gay or the first ones to be a woman on a ship or on a, right? Like, so I'm not quite that old, but I have been influenced by those people.
Right.
And coming back to your question about rank, the coolest ones are the ones who like, you're a fucking god and you have done all the work.
Yeah.
but you don't have the ego.
That's right.
You don't need to prove yourself.
Yeah,
you don't need the
right.
rank. You just got to be cool and play hockey.
I love this.
This is
And
so
those are the
good.
folks that we respect.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's a rule that goes beyond military.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's just life rules.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's fantastic because you hear about all these things and like that was one of the dynamics that we were super interested in talking about, especially because if you're just getting into the military, if you've been in the military for a long time, there's probably you wouldn't see each other necessarily as much because of your ranking or position or job.
Yeah. Yep.
And like we've been saying forever, sports brings people together.
Yeah, the
right?
old school networking. Yeah.
The
Be
old
like,
school
hey,
networking.
do you work with so-and-so? Can you help me out? Or like, hey,
Yeah,
you're a
it's
medic.
true.
Can you answer this question
That's
for me?
true.
Like there are girls that I know from like, I want to say 10 years ago from our very first posting in Greenwood. And we've now come together and met here for like 10 years later.
Yeah.
And we still remember each other. And I would venture to say in terms of like sport and military, I think there's a lot of people that if they're interested in joining, I would venture to say don't know what's available to them in terms of sports. Like that's something that you find out, you join, you get through your basic and all your training, and then you realize that there are these things that are available to you. So I think they're trying to move more towards using sports as a recruitment tool and making it
Huge.
making people aware of it because it's there. And this is like hockey's just one piece. Like there's softball, there's soccer, there's sailing, there's fencing, there's swimming, like
badminton,
squash.
Are you, maybe this is, I'm assuming that you would be, but are you allowed to be in the World Police and Fire Games or no as armed forces?
There's like our level of military sports, right? Like we're here representing Edmonton, playing in Western Canada regionals.
Yes.
But then there's also for some sports, not every sport, but there's some sports where there's like, it's CISM, so Conseil International de Sport Militaire, CISM. Okay. And that's kind of like you're almost an Olympian, but not quite. And then you can go to like military Olympics.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And like countries like France and Switzerland and Germany, they'll have their entire downhill ski team or their entire like bobsled team are all military, but their job in uniform is to be an athlete.
Yeah.
And we don't quite have that.
We're not quite there yet.
But, right? Like I've met...
like, whoa.
Yeah. Like I used to work in Whistler. I used to teach ski school. And
no kidding.
I was there during the 2010 Olympics and we'd meet like the entire Swiss whatever team and like they're all soldiers.
Yeah.
But they're not soldiers the way that we're soldiers, like driving around in the field doing stupid stuff and like sleeping in a tent. They're soldiers that are paid to be athletes.
Yeah.
So I do think that's worth just having a pause on because I do. Yeah. So I said I don't watch the news very often and I don't, but I know that we are in a time where it's been very vocal. The world is in, there's just a lot of shit happening in the world. And so it's been very public that our Canadian Armed Forces is understaffed.
Yeah.
And so that's maybe just a message to pause to anyone listening because we do have some young listeners that I think that it's worth you taking the time to take a peek at the option of this if you are looking to pursue sports, if you're looking for post-secondary like you suggested, because obviously there's a lot that the regular Joes like Addie and I have no clue.
Well, it's funny because Jena, just before you finish, like I was going to ask you, okay, well, what happened? Like, are there other sports that this happens with? Then you answered a question without even me asking it. And now we're at the military Olympics.
Yeah. Like I coached two girls from Esquimalt. I coached them on the swim team and they both qualified to go to World Games in South Korea.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And like
this is unbelievable.
I'm so proud of them.
It's a whole world that like, people don't realize that's there.
Yeah.
But it
like
is.
when I was at the recruiting center, they said, okay, we don't expect you to be an Olympic athlete, but we expect you to be like a varsity level athlete. And I was like, fuck yeah, where do I sign?
Like let's get going.
Free sports? Amazing.
Let's go.
Right. And we all joke like we're here for a week and we're paid athletes for the week because we're still getting our salary.
We're on duty,
the military paid us to fly out here and play hockey. So I can pretend to be a professional athlete for a week.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's
incredible.
Amazing.
It's a lot of fun.
Well, honestly, ladies, we could talk to you. I know we got a lot to pack into this episode, so we do have to at least at some point here cut you off. But thank you. I'm not shocked that it was right now we're on the clock of 19 minutes and 49 seconds of learning for us. Yeah, that's awesome.
Amazing. It's like to take the time to talk to us is amazing too. Like I feel like we need you guys as much as, you know what I mean? You, as much as you like talking to and you know, promoting women's sports, like we're essentially we're trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? So it's
which is the universal equalizer sports.
Yeah.
That's
And
exactly
it feels
right.
like, and hopefully your experience here has felt like, we tell that to everyone who comes on the podcast. It's just people hanging out with people.
I love it.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all
And
it
that's
is.
why we love it. So one last chance to both of you or individually send a message to those who are listening to the pod, either where to go for info, who to follow, anything you want to do.
Yeah, so if you're looking to join, go to your nearest CAF recruiting center, and that's basically where you'll find out about trade-specific stuff. But reach out to people. Like, I don't know if you're going to tag us on this, but like, yeah. So for sure, like reach out and ask the questions. And I would say like 99% of us are, you know, super laid back, willing to give you any information that we have, contacts, you know, just to get your foot in the door.
Awesome.
Yeah. I would say to go in with a plan. If you're going to go to the recruiting center, don't just go in and say, hey, what can you offer me? Say, this is what I'm interested in doing. Okay. So you're driving and they want people. But if you go in with no idea, you're going to end up in a job that maybe isn't what you want. Right. So do your work, do your research, and then go in and say, I'm interested in this, this, and this.
That's good life advice. Period.
That's right.
That's beyond the military too. Is if you don't ask for what you want, you're going to get something you don't want.
And so many opportunities. Like I remember my dad saying when I was done grade 12, like, you should join the Army. And I was like, why would I do that? But I had no idea that there's so many cool jobs and so much cool training and like so many cool sports.
Cool.
Yeah. Just a cool group of people. That's it. We're just people.
Yeah, very much so.
Thank you guys.
Thank you
guys very much for coming on. We really appreciate it and for your service.
Right on.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.
We're off to round 2 and we're sitting here with the local beauties. How are you guys doing? You guys just got off the ice, hey?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Like a little post-game interview we got going on here.
Before we jump into anything else, we need to know who they are.
Well, I was just going to head in there. We're just going to head in. So what we did with the last one, they just said their name, what your ranking is, what your job is, and, you know, just a little bit about who you are.
Mm-hmm. So I'm Sergeant MP Laflamme, Marie-Pier. I'm a trumpet player for the RCF band. So yeah, that's what I do. I play music. I'm a musician for the CAF.
Amazing. We're going to get into that.
Are you kidding? This is when we're like, have you ever done a podcast before? And they're like, no. And then they always drop a bomb as soon as they get on the show.
What do you do? Play the trumpet?
Yeah.
Bingo.
Follow that up, Gabby.
Here we go, Gabby.
I'm Captain Gabrielle Gauvin. I'm an air combat system officer, and I see that look on your face. So it used to be called navigator. Have you seen Top Gun?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Backseater.
Okay.
Unfortunately, in the CAF, we don't have a lot of two-seaters, but I do sometimes jump on the backseat of an Alpha jet. Here at Winnipeg, I'm an instructor here, teaching how to be an AXO.
Very cool.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just going to throw this out here. Maybe you did grow up here, but it sounds like neither of you grew up here.
I was just going to say.
How can you tell? Yeah, so I'm obviously from Quebec, so I did not grow up in Winnipeg. It's my second round here in Winnipeg, though. So from 2009 to 2016, I spent 7 years here. And then I got back to Valcartier for 5 years. And I just got back here a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Wow, welcome.
Thank you.
I love that.
Same here, born and raised in Quebec. Started in Valcartier and got posted here 5 years ago and still rocking Winnipeg style here.
Still rocking Peg City.
you know, let's just pause and we're going to get back to trumpet. But let's pause on that for a sec because it is one thing, we've heard it lots, just even, and regardless of it, whether you're in the armed forces or if it's a sports draw, that everyone kind of, for lack of better terms here, shits on Winnipeg.
Right. Well, you're right. So when my husband and I are both in the band, he's a guitar player.
Okay.
So we might get back to that too. And then so when we got the job and they told us you're posted to Winnipeg, our lives got like torn apart. We were shocked at first. Like, what are we going to do there? Winnipeg. Oh my God. Apparently Winnipeg is the worst. But it took, like, as soon as we got here, we decided that Winnipeg was home, you know, because we didn't know how long we would be here. And we really loved it.
Amazing.
I mean, we miss home because
of course it's home,
right? My family is there. My roots are in Quebec, but Winnipeg is such a, I don't know, it's a charming city. I love it. I love the people. I love the atmosphere. The even like the cultural scene, and there's so many things to do and to see and to hear and to experience here in Winnipeg. I really enjoy it. So there is something that draws me back here all the time.
I love it.
Yeah, for all air crew, like Winnipeg and Manitoba is a rite de passage. We have to go here. The school are here, so it's something you have to do. When I was told I was staying here, same thing. Me and my husband, we both look at each other and be like, what we gonna do? But it turns out well, like it's one of the few wing that is close to the city. So if you like city life, it's one of the best places to be posted. And for most of us, it's you're gonna come back to Winnipeg one time in your career. So it's a great place to be and to build your life, right?
But also simple. It's a simple, like there's no traffic. There's no, like the kids go to school right down the street. You drive them there, you go to work. Like everything is, I don't know. I'd be like stressed out living in, I don't know, Toronto or Ottawa or like, but Winnipeg, for me, Winnipeg is like simple. You know?
Yeah.
I like it.
I love that because we had a family on, Tyler West was on our show, and he said the same thing about him and his wife. They were, did the whole thing. They've lived everywhere, Cold Lake, Quebec. They've been everywhere. And then they got to Winnipeg and they're like, home. This is home. So
and it's the sense of community that he kept 100%. Talking about, the sense of community that's here, right? And it is like, I would describe Winnipeg and its people. I would describe Manitoba and its people in general as, like I've said it before, a slice of humble pie.
Yeah.
It's a modest place, but it's a community driven place. People care about other people. And there's far more, like you say, in this city that's offered in terms of cultural and all of those things to do here. So I just want to make sure that we highlight that if anyone, as we start to talk more about the armed forces, if anyone is told they're coming to Winnipeg, it's not earth-shattering.
Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry.
It's not the end of the world.
I like the fact that we're sitting here with a musician and a pilot, like, is absolutely mind-blowing to me. But before we get into it, I'm nervous that you're not in the camera. So if you could just scooch in just a little bit, that would be fantastic. I don't want you to get cut off by that light there.
There you go.
So where do you want to start? The pilot or the musician? This is the coolest conversation ever. This is unbelievable. And you could only get it with the military.
Yeah, that was one of the things that we learned with Alex and Jena, who were on earlier, is that we had no idea the breadth of space. What we didn't learn is that you can play a trumpet and end up in the armed forces. Oh, my phone's going off. So let's start there.
Okay.
Let's start with the trumpet and the guitar.
Because my husband is a guitar player. He's a rock guitar player.
Oh, yeah.
So we met in the university. I was doing a degree in jazz performance as a trumpet player. And being in the military was like, not my end goal. Like, I didn't have like a poster of a trumpet player wearing a uniform in my bedroom. So I got my degree. My husband got his degree. And then all my friends were joining the reserves in Sherbrooke, which is the little town I was studying in. I'm like, what are you joining the military? They're going to tell you what to do. You're a musician and you're going to let them tell you what to do. And they're like, well, it's, it's good money. It's a summer job. So you get to go to school throughout the year. And then you get like either La Garde en Rouge, which is in Quebec, or Ceremonial Guard in Ottawa. So you do the change of the guard in the morning on Parliament Hill. So, and they're like, they pay you all summer. You work out, you play music. You're still fresh on your horn when you start school in September.
Sounds not bad.
Well, exactly. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm going to let them tell me what to do for a couple months, So I joined the reserves. And then once I joined the reserves, I got to go to the tattoo in Halifax. Do you know what a tattoo is?
No.
So it's a big freaking show. And you have like hundreds of people, musicians, acrobats, magicians, and they all get together from all over the world and they put on a show together. And they have people that see the show probably 10 times during that week from all over the world. And so you have lots of military bands that play there. And so while I'm participating to that with my unit, I see a sign for a reg force job. So I'm like, wait a minute, I can do this full time all year long. I didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
I was in the reserve and I didn't know. And they were looking for trumpet players and guitar players. I'm like, what? I could do that with
Get in there.
With my guy. So I called him up and I'm like, are you interested in doing the audition? He's like, do you think I need to cut my hair? I'm like, he's
the rocker hair.
Yeah. He's like, if I need to cut my hair, I don't think I can do this. And I'm like, well, we'll try it.
Yeah,
we'll try
the best follow-up question ever. What about my hair?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, let's just try. And then we kind of agreed, if you get it, I'll follow you, and vice versa. So he got in and I didn't the first time around, but my degree was still not over. Okay. So it was a good thing for me anyway. So he got posted into Winnipeg. I joined him a couple months later once my degree was done. And then I auditioned the year after and I got in also. So we were both like full-time employed in Winnipeg in the RCF band. So now it's been 15 years.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
Are we talking you play the trumpet every day? What?
Yeah. So, I try to. Yeah. Of course, there's so many other things. Like music, as any other trade, is your main thing is probably 10% of what you're actually doing. Okay. There's so many other things around it. You manage personnel and you do admin and you do so many other things. We have secondary duties and we have so many other things. Okay. And sports. And, our weeks are full of things that are not just music or trumpet. But you do need to try and make time for your instrument every day. Almost every day. Yeah, because you got to be, we're professionals, right? So it's got to be ready all the time. Yeah.
So my dad is a huge musician. Okay. Grew up music was, I had to force him to put me in sports.
These are Tim's mics.
He's had a lot of input here. Yep. But he's always talked about there's emotion and feeling behind songs. And when I think about songs that you probably have to play in the military for ceremonies and stuff, the first time you played a song at a ceremony in a military, was that one of the most nerve-wracking performances of your life? I just feel like symbolic.
I totally get what you're saying. Yes.
You know what I mean?
And as a trumpet player, we get to play the last post, which for me is it's so meaningful. And as nerve-wracking as it can be, it's my favorite moment in my my favorite moment of my career is probably right before playing a last post, because you realize how important this is, right, and how significant of a role I get to have for those ceremonies. Because music has such a strong impact, and it's easy to forget because everything goes by so fast, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But then when you hear that piece of music and it's silent, I think it's super strong, and I get to create that moment for people and for memories, and because music is it's like a smell, or it makes you experience so much deeper anything. So especially for the CAF, we need to feel things.
Yeah. Sure.
We need to remember. We need I think I'm super fortunate to do that for the CAF. Yeah.
And that's when you love what you do and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in this world. Because it's when things get hard, that's when it's you get this overwhelming sense of calm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's that is, because I'm I couldn't imagine that moment. Mm-hmm. That is huge.
Huge magnitude.
That is huge. Very cool. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know how to play the trumpet?
Guitar?
I play guitar.
Yeah, get it, Gaby. I love that.
But the trumpet,
I got a funny 30 seconds here before we jump over to you. But so in my small town I grew up in was 2.5 hours from here, and your options were band or art. So I played an instrument. I played tenor saxophone, but my friend played the trumpet because he thought there was only 3 notes.
Almost.
I got this.
I was like, dude, okay.
Alrighty.
Yeah, he played grade 7 and then hung the trumpet up.
You're going to have a big wake-up call day one, my friend.
Yeah, of course I'm picking that one. Look how many notes yours has. Look how many buttons yours has. Mine has 3.
Yeah. I win. Yeah. I win band.
Yeah, exactly, right? All right, Gaby, fill us in on what is a day in the life of you.
Yeah. First, I'm not a pilot. They will never let me drive. And if you're getting on the aircraft, you don't want me to drive.
Yeah.
I'm more telling where to go. It's more my job.
Cool.
But yeah, same as MP. I didn't know really what the military was before joining. I was in university. I was doing a degree in kinesiology, close to sport. Always have been my passion, doing sport and being close of all the team. Doing those stuff, and I met my husband over there, and he was joining. And after a couple years, I realized that, hey, you're getting paid to stay fit. do PT, play sport. That's my kind of deal, right? So finish off my degree on the side of the table and joined right away and got in as an AXO. Didn't know quite much what it was doing, but it sounds cool. So I'm like, I'm going for it. I want to fly. And I end up in Winnipeg here, and I love the trade. It's amazing getting to fly almost every week. It's awesome. Getting to play sport while being paid to do it. Well, I have a good career before joining the military, and this first time happened to me, and it's the best thing ever.
Yes.
Are you in the planes that when we see like military-looking planes flying over Winnipeg, that's you?
The blue one? Yeah. Funky nose? Yeah, it's us. Yeah.
Cool. That changes that for me.
100%. We're going to be waving now.
I'll wave back.
What's up? Imagine me standing beside the hot tub.
St. James.
We laugh like that wouldn't happen, but it might.
It might.
I love the, like, sports was a big draw for you here.
Absolutely. I grew up playing, hold on for it, broom ball. I don't know if you know what it is.
Do we know broom ball? That's fantastic. Like in a
to
league.
hear someone say I grew up, like we know it, but it's mostly like we started it when we wanted to drink beer with our friends.
Yeah.
Exactly, right?
That's right.
No, I started up broom ball. I was 10. It was a big thing where I'm coming from. Like I come from on the line between Quebec and New Brunswick.
Okay.
So it's a big thing over there, and end up playing on probably 3 World Cup in broom ball. Yeah.
What?
Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
It was fun. Like
Again.
I know.
Trumpet. Yeah, watch me trump that with my 3 World Cups.
Yeah, it's super fun. It's still like amateur sport. Like it's not it's getting regulated now. Like I can see the young people getting on Team Canada and all those stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing to see that. But back in my days, it was more like for fun, and you just had to win like the Canadian championship to go.
Just had to do that. Yeah.
Gosh.
So it was pretty fun. And for me, that camaraderie and that way with team player, the way we're getting close and do all that was really, when it stopped for me, my career was stopped. I really missed it. Mm-hmm. And it's the first thing that I found in the military. Like, it's so much the same. Like, especially if we play hockey together. We don't work together at all, but we spend time together. And it's the same with the people I work with. When we fly, we're a team. And it's the same as if I play hockey with Mcpl, right? Like, we're close together. And the military have that for us. It's something I found, like, very rewarding being in there. It's the same as playing sport. Be with a team.
Yeah. Did you play hockey before this? No.
That's the cool thing is when I joined the military, broom ball was not a thing anymore in the military. And I ended up in Winnipeg, and one of the girls say, "Hey, come and start hockey." Well, I don't know how to skate, and that was not a problem at all. Like they show me how to skate and develop me so I can play hockey now with them. Like
wow.
How about you, MP?
Same. I didn't play hockey before that. I have 3 brothers, so I grew up like playing on outdoor rinks and stuff like that. But like, they didn't want to come, so I'm like, come on, come play hockey with me. So yeah, when I joined, actually as a reservist, I was doing some Class B contract. Class B is like just a longer contract with as a reservist with a military band, and they had a band team. And so I got out, and for the first time, I put like the equipment. I was by myself because I'm always this only woman. Yeah. So I'm in the change room with all this stuff that like I grabbed from everyone, and I have no idea how to put this on. So I got on the ice and I'm like, no, am I okay? So that's the first time we were just not playing, just playing for fun. But like for me, it was a big deal to wear like pads and a helmet and stuff. And that's 15 years ago. And then I started playing intersection with men. And then when I came to Winnipeg, there was a women's team. But for a long time, I played with men that knew how to play, and I had no clue. But they were so awesome with me. Like they took me under their wing.
So cool.
Yeah. So I had a few good experience with, them mentoring me and showing me what to do. And then with the women, oh my gosh. As a teenager, I've played soccer and stuff, but I kept saying, I don't like to play with women. There was something about it that, but I think it's like probably with teenager girls or
there's
whatever. I wasn't used to it. I had brothers, I was so uncomfortable. And then when I said, well, there's a women's team, the hockey team, I was still like on the edge of like, should I? And then they were so welcoming. And I didn't have like a super level of playing. Yeah. But the two women that were taking care of the team at that time were amazing. And I still refer to them as like great mentors in my life for just how they were managing the team, how they were including everyone. No matter how good you are, you're part of the team. So it made me want to stay, right? Yeah, it was, military sports are something else.
Yeah. So talk to us about, like you say that you guys do sports regularly. Is there a rink on the base? Where do you play? Where do you play? Tell us outside of this tournament, outside of this, what is like, how often do you play hockey? How often are you together? Are you once a week?
Unfortunately, because there's not enough women to have like many women's team, we are all like playing in mixed teams. We have an intersection league. Okay. So we get out once or twice a week. And we play mainly during work hours. So we come either here or this year it's here at the
Civic Center, maybe?
Yeah. No, it's here. So we play here twice a week with our own unit team. Or if you don't have a unit team, you can join another team So and then we have a tournament in the fall, in the spring probably. But the women's team, we play in the Civi League because we don't have enough players to have like an intersection league here. So we play on weekends. Or sometimes at night, like later at night, like Thursday night. And there's a bunch of moms, right? And we're like, oh my God, we get there's not anyone, right? We all come back from work. We have dinner. Like, 9:30. I gotta work from 9:30. I need to wait for. Anyway, so we play at night. We play weekends. We play Civi. We play military. We get to play a lot actually.
Yeah, if you really want, like for most of us, you can play up to 4 times a week during work hour, right? Depending on your unit, you can go all the time.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Addie and I have played hockey in this province our entire lives. And it took us to have Tyler on the show to tell us that this was the thing, to know that there was this much happening. It is mind-boggling to me.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
And the CAF is putting a special priority right now to have us play more sports because they realize how important it is for cohesion, for even mental health, physical health. Sports it touches everything, right? It makes sure that you're well-rounded. So I think we need to do more of it. And it's great that they give us the opportunity to do it more. Yeah. And not just the opportunity, they're pushing us to do more.
Amazing.
Well, one of the things we mentioned with Jena and Alex, who were on just before you guys, is it's the equalizer, right? Like it brings everybody together. It doesn't matter what your job is, where it is. This is bringing everybody together, same rank, and just go have fun. Yeah. Go have fun. I love it.
And for us also playing there's no ranks. There's it's so a first name basis. It's like, I don't even know. I don't even know. You know?
Yeah.
Like, that was the common theme last with the last two was rank doesn't happen in sports.
Yeah.
It goes away. And I think you mentioned it, Gabby, that you don't work with MP on regular. Obviously, like you don't take your trumpet in a plane.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not on a regular basis.
That's funny because for this tournament, I sang the national anthem. And I was fully dressed because I was playing the first game.
Gear?
Yeah.
Come on,
so my colleague Cindy, she was in Capt, and so she was in uniform. We did the duet, and we played. I sang the national anthem because I get to sing. I play trumpet, a bit of percussion, piano, and I sing. So I did. I brought my instrument for the hockey game.
I love that.
This is incredible.
Love that.
We knew off the hop that we were going to learn a lot we're halfway through, so we've got 2 more from Cold Lake, 2 more from Esquimalt.
Esquimalt.
Yeah. We'll get it. We're working on it. We'll get it.
We'll get that before they get here. But want to give you thank you very much for coming and sharing just a slice. And again, we said this to Jena and Alex. We could talk for 60 minutes. It wouldn't be hard.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
This is so fun.
So thank you for being here. But an opportunity, if both of you want to just plug a message to those who are listening, whether that's about the CAF, whether that is about sports, whether that's, whatever spin you want to take. But here's your opportunity to speak to people who might not know much about the armed forces.
Oh, well, I might be selfish then.
Okay.
I might talk about my trade.
Yes.
Do it. Do it.
So as a musician in the CAF, I think our main role is connection, inspiration. And I think if this talks to anyone, if you're a musician, you're unsure about the Canadian Armed Forces, just go for it. And then, because you won't regret it.
Yeah.
It's a great trade to be in, and we need people right now.
Yep.
And I think you will find what you're looking for in the CAF for sure.
I love that.
I love it.
Gabby?
Absolutely. Like the CAF will give you the opportunity you're dreaming of. Like no matter what you want to do, there's a place for everyone. And you're going to have to play sports. You're going to have friends. And it's like I'm living my best life right in the military. And I wish that any of you that are listening are on the fence, just give it a shot. It's worth it. And if you don't like it, well, it's going to give you good experience if you want one day to just go out. Like there's no obligation.
I love this.
Unbelievable. Thank you guys so much for your time, and thank you for being you. This has been amazing.
Yeah, it has been. Thanks for your service as well.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome.
That's so cool.
You betcha. Thanks, gals. Okay, we're over the halfway point. We have now come from Edmonton. We spent some time in Winnipeg. Now we are jumping to Cold Lake, Alberta. Yeah. And I am not going to do anything to introduce either of you. I'm going to let you do the justice yourself. Tell us who you are. We'll start right here. Okay. Tell us who you are.
Well, Stéphany Clément. I come from Saint-Georges-de-Windsor originally, but I live in Cold Lake.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh. I am aviator Marissa Browning. I'm originally born in Markham, Ontario, grew up mostly in Barrie, Ontario, so just outside of Toronto. I'm a city gal, so Cold Lake was a little bit of different pace for me. I work right now, in Cold Lake, as I said. I'm an EGS tech, which no one knows what that is. Like, I know you guys are military, but there's only just over 100 of us CAF-wide. So we work on generators. We're electrical generating systems technicians. So a little bit of engines, a little mechanical, a little electrical.
Whoa. Okay, let's start there.
Let's dive in.
We need to pause again because every time we don't really ask what you do because we don't know what you do anyways if we ask before we hit record. So we might as well learn now.
Yeah, that's right.
And every time last time we had a pilot and a trumpet player.
Yeah.
The other time we had a medic and what did Jena do?
She was a navigator. Gabby was the navigator.
Whatever, okay.
Yeah, you know what that's I remember.
EGS, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, fill us in. Tell us more. What does a day in the life of Marissa look like?
Okay, so EGS, we work on anything that generates power, basically. So we do a lot of generators, so usually diesel gennies mostly, but we also do APUs, UPS, frequency converters. We kind of work behind the scenes sort of thing because when things go wrong, that's when we come in. But if nothing's going wrong, no one knows what we're doing. Yeah. So if our generators aren't working, they don't know unless the power goes out. Yeah.
This is not, I'm not going to lie, this is not something you stumble into. So how did you end up where you are?
So I originally wanted to be an electrician. And I was like, I love electrical. I love problem solving. It all sounds so fun to me. And I heard about the military. I think the military is a big misconception. They think if you're in the military, you're sorry, I didn't mean to swear there.
No,
I can't swear.
Yeah.
I thought you're just digging trenches, So I was like, I don't know if that's my style, but I didn't know trades were just actual jobs on base. I was actually very surprised by that. And then I heard about all the benefits and everything. Sports was a huge selling point for me. Too. And then I went to the recruitment center, in blind, didn't know a single soul in the military. I was like, what can you tell me? Let me know. And then I was given a list of trades that maybe could pique my interest. And I heard about EGS and they were just this is the best of both worlds. You like a little bit of mechanical, you like a little bit of electrical. Why don't you try this out? I put it as my first choice and I actually got in really fast. Some people take years just to get selected. I was basically from the day I applied to the day my first day of basic was 6 months.
Wow.
And then you go to the School of Electrical and Mechanical somehow.
Yeah, I was in Gagetown. So okay. I was well traveled as a child, around the world. I had been to Africa, Europe, all around the States, but I haven't really traveled much in Canada. I was just mostly Ontario, maybe took a trip to Quebec or something. But then all of a sudden I'm just your training is in New Brunswick. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I went to Gagetown just outside of Fredericton. And I was like, wow, this is really small. And I was there for 6 months. And then I got posted to Cold Lake and I was like, what's a Cold Lake? And I was like, oh no, this is really small.
Right.
Yeah, so that was wild. Like city girl traveling to the East Coast and then all the way to the West Coast. It was honestly crazy, but it's just such a wild ride. Like I love that it's kind of hard not knowing where you're going and when, but then it's also really exciting. And I meet people that I would never have met otherwise. Like East Coasters are a different breed of human. West Coasters are a different breed of human.
Toronto kids are a different breed of human.
I was going to go that far, but I mean...
It's true. That's okay. That's wicked.
That's unreal.
Give us a little bit more detail. How you end up
it's funny because I'm kind of the opposite. Like I went to the cadet system. So like when I during the summer camps and stuff, they introduce you to all the military have to offer. So when I submitted my thing, I knew exactly where I was going. I knew exactly what they offer. I knew they were good with the sports. I did the cadet, so doing my uniforms and shit, super easy for me. You know what I mean? And I come from a very, very small town. Like I do believe I'm the only active military member from my small town.
Okay.
And so every time I go home, they're like, so how's your pilot license? I'm like, I'm not a pilot. I'm a supply tech. I actually give like the underwears and socks and like you need a screw, like we're gonna do you. Like, oh, you need to order books? Yeah, we'll order you books. Like but like every time I go home, it's like, oh yeah, so you kill people, right? Like, no, it's not. That's all about. But it's just like the misconception. So like among us, like,
yes,
but it's so fun.
I think that's why we're so excited about doing this episode is because we have been blown away for the last hour because it's like we do this and we do this and we've traveled here and it's like the consistent theme of everybody that's been on the show so far is like you don't even know the amount of opportunities that you actually do have when you get into the military.
How you're feeling. Imagine how I felt. I showed up basic training day one. I got screamed at. I was like, what did I sign up for?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Yeah, it was honestly wild. Like I definitely should have done my research. Probably would have helped me in the long run. But being thrown in, like I was challenged more in the first year being in the military than I had in my entire life. Like I've had jobs where I've made more money or I've worked more and all this, but I've never been challenged. Like I worked at a car factory in the weld department. I worked at Honda and it was a great job. Like it was a little bit of an old boys club, but I just hated that a monkey could do my job. And I was like, I just want to be challenged. And then I joined the military and oh boy.
There it is.
Yeah, but it's so rewarding. That's what it is though. Like high risk, high reward, I guess. Like it was honestly fun.
I think we might have said this off air with the last two we had on here, but it's funny because a common theme, and I've said this on podcast episodes before about people in their sport, is that everyone smiles. Like you clearly are enjoying your job. You clearly enjoy your job. But I do want to talk back to, okay, so like the cadets thing.
Yeah.
Was that a family job? Like what made you join cadets?
So I grew up, like my parents separated when I was 6.
Okay.
And so like we didn't have money. I was like, hey, can I go play hockey? Nah, no money, no time. You need to go to your mom the weekend. Can't do it. Oh, can I go play baseball? Nah, same thing, man. No money, no time. Like, we can't. Like, we'd like you. You can go play slow pitch. Okay, I'll go play slow pitch. Like, but so I grew up like very, not poor. Like we were like, but we didn't have the extra money to put me in sports. And it was okay. So I grew up very much playing slow pitch. Slow pitch is like my jam because I've been playing so much. But cadets was free. $0 that I paid for my 5 years in the cadets. And I loved it because like I made so much friends. Like it's so
sense of community.
Yeah. And like
things.
I'm helping, like I just remember so many stories where I helped like young children like develop how to speak like to people because like you need to bring them in as a squadron and as a platoon, right? Like you need to motivate them to come back, to like their experience and stuff, right? It's the same thing in the military. I feel like you want to, the people you work with, you want to keep them with you and do sports with them and you want to go out for a drink after them and after work and stuff like that. So it's very fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
I had no idea that cadets was free.
$0.
So there's the plug for the cadets.
Because, that's huge.
Yeah, what a great opportunity for people who are looking for, like you say, that sense of community, helping, like and meeting people, meeting friends, and then finding a career path for you is pretty amazing.
Absolutely. So you very mechanical, obviously, but did you grow up with sports at all? Like, that's
like all I live and breathe sports. That is literally all I've done. Like a lot of the time, even in elementary school, I was like, the more sports I play, the less time I have to spend at school. I'm away for this tournament. I didn't have to be good at it. I just have to play.
I hear you.
And like, I'm pretty athletic. Like I've played everything. Hockey is my number one for sure. Actually, ball hockey is my number one sport.
Oh, okay.
I play international level ball hockey. I was actually supposed to be in Czech Republic this summer, but they canceled it for the third time in a row because of COVID, and then what's going on in Europe right now.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I play every sport under the sun. Like it has a ball, involves some sort of running. Like I'm so down, and I can like relate to Steph in the sense like I didn't do cadets, but the sense of community you get from a team is just unreal. Like the best and longest friendships I've had have all been through sports because no matter what, you have that common interest. It's unreal. Like you think about the tournaments and hotels and you're playing mini sticks in the hallways and you're racing in your socks down the halls, you're going up a floor and you're knocking on every door. Like that's just like a sense of community. These are things you don't forget. Yeah, and sports is just what bring people together that maybe never would have been together otherwise, but you still have that common interest. So you really just bond over that. And I always have sports to thank for that. I actually just, I got off of an injury and I freaked out. It was my first injury ever. I played every sport under the sun, but I hurt my knee and I lost it because I was like, this was my thing. Like, what am I going to do if I can't play sports? Like I was on crutches and I was just like, oh man, like that's half my personality gone.
It's a sense of identity that you have when you're an
that's
athlete,
the same
right?
thing happened to me in like COVID, when COVID hit, right? Like it was right during the summer and the stoppage season was starting. And I was like, what am I going to do in my life? Like I don't see my friends. I don't go out. Like that's what I was doing. So like turn up by a PC and now to esports instead of real sports, right? Like the side.
Yep. Let's jump to you for a sec because a little birdie coach told us that you're a goalie, but you weren't a goalie.
I was not a goalie. Still today, I'm like, yeah, I'm a goalie, right?
I put goalie equipment on. Yeah, maybe that's the most true. So tell us, why are you goalie now?
So at the beginning of the season, I look at my team. I was not the one in charge of this team. So at the beginning, they were two way more athletic women that I play slow pitch with them, Blue and Megan Moore. And they both got on TD and exercise. So they're like, here, the team. Hopefully you guys gonna do well. Wish you luck. They send us support and message, and all the time they ask us what we're doing and stuff. They're very like, but then I got thrown in the spotlight, and I was like, okay, I'm looking at my team. You can put a girl defense. You can put a girl offense. If they skate, they have a stick, they will do something, right? If you put somebody at goalie position and they have no clue, they're gonna get hurt. They're gonna get scared. They're gonna get emotional. Like, you know what I mean? It's same thing with the pitcher in baseball, in the slow pitch. If you put them in there and they're like, hopefully you do well, you're gonna break them in the sports and they will never gonna want to do it again, right? Yeah. So I was looking at the team and I was like, well, I prefer me getting to start goalie and be a half-decent goalie than putting somebody in the spotlight and be like, here you go, you goalie. Hopefully you will stop something. Yeah. Hopefully we won't break you and you're gonna come next year. It's a decision that I made real quick, and I think it's for the best. Like I think the girl appreciated the effort that I put in, and
I'm
then
sure. Ultimate team player.
I was just gonna say 100%, and a very smart thought process behind that, because you're right. I've played hockey my entire life. Somebody put goalie gear on me.
See ya.
No, thank you.
The pressure on a goalie is like the worst thing. I actually did play goalie when I was younger. So I showed up in Cold Lake late. She was already goalie, and I was like, I haven't played goalie since grade 10. So if you already have the pads on, that's fine. I came out for practice, then I got injured. So we're just like, I'm just going to play out. Going down is way worse for my knee. Right. But when I played goalie, like when I played rep, I was a nuisance. Like I was such a terrible sport. Like if we had a bad game and I lost, the parents would like fight over who had to drive me home. Because like no one wanted to drive me home. I was such a poor sport because you just take it to heart. Like a goalie mentality is different. Like, you know, there's that stereotype goalies are the weirdest on the team. Well, you know, you're putting pads on and get shot at. Really. And like when the puck goes in the net, yes, they went through all 5 of your players, but you feel it. It's rough, especially if you let a weak one in. You know you could have stopped it. Like your team looks at you and they're like, a lot of them are good and they're like, you know, you'll get the next one, but you feel it on yourself, especially if you're very competitive like myself. I'm sure Steph is as well. Yeah. Like, man, it hurts.
Our first game hurt us like a ton of break. That's for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. A little eye opener. Yeah. Do you find the mental warfare of being a goalie any different than you did as a player?
Obviously the pressures lay way higher for like that's me putting on myself. Like nobody's putting that pressure on me, obviously. But I'm a pitcher in slow pitch.
Okay.
So I know that pressure.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes it's like, I wish I can, it's slow pitch, you can strike somebody out, right?
Yeah. Right.
A goalie cannot go score a goal. I cannot like say, hey, I'm just gonna go make a pass, and you know what I mean? So that's the hard for me to be like, okay, step down, let do the girls their thing, and you just do your thing.
It's funny though, because the perspective that I think, you know, I'm in my head, I instantly went to, as a player, I always say a goalie can steal you a game. Right?
Yeah.
You know that. You know that feeling where it's like your goalie comes up big and you're like, there's no chance she ever should have made that save.
Yeah.
And I think of that the same way as putting a team on your back and going and scoring that game winner.
Pumps up the team for sure.
It's like you just stole the game, and then you've got a Marissa who just goes down, shelves one proudly, and
one can only hope. And the goalie too, like you see the whole rink. So sometimes it's hard. Like for me, I only played goalie for 2 years because I was like, man, like I want to score goals. Like, and I was better at it. That's the thing. Like I was better at goalie than I was playing out, but it all came down to fun for me.
Yeah, that's
I was never gonna make it, so I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna play out. But as a goalie, like it's frustrating when you're watching your team and they're not helping you out or something like that. You're just like, I just want to play out, especially for you because you play out.
You want to go be a game changer.
Yeah, so it's rough, but at the same time, like you said, like you can steal the game.
Yeah,
that's right.
Talk to us about hockey and how often you play. What hockey looks like in Cold Lake? Are you guys on the ice on a regular basis, or what does that look like?
For me, so a lot of the time in the military, you have PT, like you have to go for PT. And I'm really lucky for my unit. We have hockey PT 3 times a week. So you have the option to do circuits, but I'm on the ice from 6:45 to 8 o'clock 3 times a week. And then I play intersection with my unit and as well with the ladies. Yeah. So I'm basically on 2 teams as well as hockey PT 3 times in the morning plus practices. Yeah. So I'm on the ice at least like anywhere from
like what is this dream
This
world?
is unbelievable.
Anywhere from like 6 to 10 times a week, honestly. It's great. I love it. And then I also played badminton. I had to let go of volleyball because I'm like, I actually can't walk anymore. Like I'm a little sore now.
I mean, this is the part though too, is that, and again, I'm reiterating it on here, is that people are not aware of what the opportunity is within the armed forces. 15 or 17-year-old Cowie, if you would have said, I get to go do a job and be on the ice 6 to 10 times a week, sign me up.
Done. Let's go.
It's a thing. And then you guys so let's talk a little bit about where we're at now. So you guys get to leave Cold Lake. We're in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
What's that been like to bring your team here?
So fun.
Yeah.
Oh, so nostalgic too. Like I was saying about like old hockey tournaments when I was younger and playing rep. You have that weekend with the girls. We're going out. We're doing whatever. We're having a great time. We're drinking together. Even last night we drank with 2 other teams. We were downstairs with other people. I've never met them in my whole life, but like hockey, sports just brings people together.
That's the best.
And it's so nice.
Coming to the city, was there one stop that you guys had to make while you were here? We heard of some people hitting up Taco Bell pretty hard.
Yeah, what's up with that? I know Taco Bell.
I've seen Taco Bell. I'm from Ontario. We have everything there.
I guess that's true.
I mean, there's no poutine here, so for me, it's not. It's nothing I need to hit. But I know there's a few girls that hit the pizza place that like we don't have in Cold Lake. Like Courtney was like, "There's that pizza place that we don't have that I used to go eat all the time," and she went back with 3 boxes. I was like,
we went to Jollibee. Spaghetti. 10:30 in the morning. I had spaghetti and fried chicken. That's all you need. That's a pregame meal if I've ever heard.
Breakfast of champions.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's hilarious.
Amazing.
We're doing all you can eat sushi tonight. There's no all you can eat sushi in Cold Lake. That's what I miss the most.
You know,
that was my biggest qualm.
Get
out of here. Get out of here.
I don't like sushi.
But the all you can eat can be hit and miss. Addie and I are big sushi fans, and
where are you going?
I don't even know. I just get in the van and then we end up somewhere with really good food and I'm just like, heck yeah.
Yeah, there's girls on the project and they put the list up and
there's quite the list.
We have a list.
That is
hockey and food is what we're here for.
Yeah, right on. Hey, I want to ask you both, on your team specifically, do you? We know that you're both younger members, right?
Yeah.
On your team?
Yes.
So. Yeah. Talk to us about, what that's been as one of the younger people in the room. Do you feel like sports has connected you with your peers that you may not work with on a regular basis? Just touch on that for us if you can.
So I'm a supply tech. Like we're purple trade. We work with everybody in every trade, right? Okay. So like I can ended up working with Marissa, like not right now, but we can. Mm-hmm. And that's where I do very luck because like there's people that have the same trade as me and they're warrant and officers. And if I call them and I'm like, hey, I need your help for this. It's not going to be like, hey, sir, please, may you would like to help us a little bit, please. Like, it's like, hey, buddy, I need your help. Can you help me? Yeah, no problem. I'll be on the project right now. You know what I mean? That's like, it's just instant connection. I can call. And even like right now, if I need to call Edmonton, like I know I can call somebody and be like, hey, I need this right now. Do you have a number? Do you have somebody I can call that will help me? Because in every job, you can call somebody and they're not going to be good at their job, right? So you want the person that will help you, not the person that will refer you. No, tell me the person and we'll make this work.
Yeah, and we're like, again, like you said, two of the younger I think there's 3 of us that are 99s, and we're the youngest on the team. And she's running the team, and I'm an assistant captain, right? So it's just like, it comes down, it's hockey. Yeah. It's not military. Yeah. We're all in the military. We all have that in common. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is hockey and just hanging out.
Yeah, there's no rank in sports.
No rank in sports.
We've been
flip cup against a major last night.
Yeah, see, so we asked that question because we're 3 for 3 on people saying those words. There's no rank in sports.
There's no rank in
sports. Which is, I think... And, you know, we've used this before, too. It's sports is the equalizer. Like, let's be honest. We're not sitting at a table together unless we are involved in sports, which then connects us to be involved in sports. Right. And so we love to share those stories of how people are interconnected. Because the other thing that we've said, too, and this maybe is highlighted in the military, is that I always say, if I move somewhere, because I play sports, because I know how to play ball and play hockey, it doesn't matter if you take me and plunk me in, you know, the middle of Alberta or the middle of Quebec, I instantly have a community because I can sign up to play something.
That's my exact story. I was in Gagetown and they were asking for preferences and I put 3 Ontario postings and I was the only one in my course who didn't get one of my 3 choices and I went to Cold Lake and I was like terrified. I don't know a single soul west of Ontario and there I am out in Alberta and it was hard. Like I got there and I didn't know anybody, but as soon as like I think in my first week of work, there was like a sport day and we played volleyball. And then I met some girls who played volleyball. And then I was in a volleyball group chat. And then that volleyball group chat, I saw someone who was like, I can't come to volleyball because I'm going to hockey. And then I added her right away. And I was like, listen, I play hockey. Where can I sign up? And then all of a sudden, like this big scary thing, being in a new place, not knowing a single soul. I was playing sports. Like I was playing volleyball, badminton, squash, and hockey. And then that's all those sports, but that's all those people that I'm getting to know. And now all of my closest friends I know through sports. And I feel comfortable in my home now.
It's
so nice.
And same way I arrived here with barely English. And like, I was like, oh man, how am I gonna work? So I work a little bit and then somebody said like, slow pitch. I was like, I know that way. We can play this. Ding, ding, ding. And then I was like, put me in, sign me in. Like, please let me do something that I like, that I know, that I don't need somebody to teach me.
And there's no language barrier because I know the sport.
If you say hit, okay. I can catch, okay. I can catch.
So we're getting to the point where we have to wrap up here, but there is one aspect that I really want to touch on, you guys, because the women that we've talked to before were a little bit older. They'd been a part of the military for a long time. Feel like we got 2 young bucks here with us. And so we've allowed everybody to pitch, not pitch, but just say something, put something into the world about the armed forces, yourself. How do people follow you guys? How do you become a part of it? But also for young people looking at this potentially as something that they may want to do. What would you guys say to someone, your age that's looking at this?
Well, I feel like right now everyone's like, we're the soft generation. We have everything handed to us. You want a challenge? You want to show people what you can do? Join the military. Because every day is new. Every day is a challenge. And you can really just show people what you have and you'll learn so much. Like the experience you get in the military, either getting deployed, playing sports or whatever it is unmatched. You're not going to find it anywhere else. Even if you're not in for 25 years, like it looks good on a resume and it'll give you life experience and friendships that you will literally never get anywhere else. And the opportunities playing sports, like you can't find it anywhere. So I would recommend it to anyone, honestly.
I love that. Challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because that's how you feel good. Like you challenge yourself, you overcome a challenge and you're like, wow, that's rewarding. Like you have something to look back on and be like, I'm proud of myself. My people are proud of me. And it's so nice.
Wow. Yeah. You wrapped it all very well. Not much to add.
Following that.
But I just started my job, like it's been 5 years in the military. And then like I'm sometime turning around and teaching older people how to do their job, you know what I mean? Because I learned it so fast and so well. And like some people look like I'm 2 IC on my section and I'm 23, right? I'm with 2 people that are in 30s and 40s, right? Like I'm teaching them how to be better, you know what I mean, at their job, but it's like, cool. It's not about the age or sex or, you know what I mean? Like gender has nothing to do with that, right? Any part of the military, if you're good at your job and if you're good at like the sports, we'll love you, we'll bring you in, you'll be part of the family, you know what I mean? So
good message.
Wow.
Good message. Okay, Marissa, Stéphany, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for sharing your story. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
It's so appreciate fun. It. We are getting the opportunity to round off this incredible day of meeting all these incredible women. But there is one question that Cowie and I have been talking about all day that we need to clear up. How do you say Esquimalt?
Okay, you
say the T.
But I'm probably saying it wrong now. I'm second guessing myself here.
We have been saying it all day, and people are like, soft tea, hard tea. We don't. So,
I say Esquimalt.
Let's do it.
Esquimalt.
Let's go. I'm so happy that you're
Hopefully
here.
That's right.
Yeah. So what we've been doing off the top of every interview we've done so far is just allowing you to introduce yourself, who you are, rank, what you do, and any sports.
I'm Corporal Welsh. I am a supply technician with goals of becoming a training and development officer.
Very cool.
Yeah. Cool.
So we'll get to that later.
No, tell us. So let's start out with like where do roots lie for you?
Mm-hmm. Are you talking like where I was born?
Yeah. Your journey.
I was born in Matsquay, BC. It actually says Matsquay on my birth certificate, which is Abbotsford. So
no way.
Fraser Valley.
Why does it say?
Yeah, I don't know. Every time people say, "Where are you born?" Where is that?
Matsquay.
But they know Abbotsford.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Abbotsford, BC.
Okay.
So that's where I was born. I was raised in Aldergrove, and I literally just left Langley about, 4 years ago now. Okay. So I'm a new Esquimalter.
Oh, Esquimalter. That's the
is that the technical term?
Yes.
Okay, so everyone has had a different journey to end up in the Canadian Armed Forces. We've heard all sorts of different things. Can you give us your version?
Well, the very first inkling I had was actually when my dad saw my report card and I was starting to get on the honor roll.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, oh, this one's going to go to university probably. So he mentioned it at the dinner table, and I think I was in grade 11 when he mentioned it. And in my head, I just thought, oh, well, I'm not going to do that because I thought it was just one job, like infantry. Like I thought.
Yes. What we think of the movies.
Like, yeah. Exactly.
I didn't understand that there were all these different trades or anything. And so I just put that out of my mind. I'm like, no, I'm not running through the bush with a weapon. No.
I ain't doing that, Dad.
Yeah. So if I would have known what I know now, I probably would have took them up on that offer. But yeah, I basically just ended up going through university and college on my own.
Okay.
But that was my first, I guess, shutdown because nobody explained it. It was just my dad at the table. And then 10 years later, I moved to Windsor, Ontario briefly for the housing prices.
Okay.
I was like 29.
Yep.
Recently married. Thought, oh, I'm going to buy a house out there because it's super cheap. And then I didn't realize the economy is really bad as well out there. And so long story short, I ended up back in BC. And my husband had talked to me about the armed forces because he was actually when he was 17. Mm-hmm. He went all the way through infantry training, of course, because he's 17. And he said, he started talking about the trades. I'm like, what are you talking? Like, I had no idea. And then I started researching and like realized like, holy,
Yeah. That's okay. Today has been that aha moment for us. Yeah. Not going to lie. We came to the arena yesterday. We were just going to watch some hockey, and we were going to figure out how we were going to make this podcast happen.
Yeah.
And I said the words, I have no idea what the armed forces. I don't understand really anything of it.
Because our thought was the exact as yours.
It's like what you think in the movies.
100%. That's what it is.
That's the military.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's like on our team, there's an MP, there's a physiotherapist.
Yeah, hey?
There's like pilots. Like it's just amazing. It's an amazing like group of women that like do these amazing jobs and they exist.
I know.
And you can have it paid for.
Yeah, which is the wild part, right?
I wish I would have known because I have a nice little sized student loan.
So what did you take in school?
I did a Bachelor of Arts in theater.
Okay, so when we were saying earlier, you're really putting that to use.
Yeah. That was, my plan was to be an actor.
Okay.
That was the goal.
So I went to college first and I went to theater school literally for 2 years, and I transferred to UBC, which is the University of British Columbia, and did a English and theater degree. And then I realized, I need to make money.
Oh, wait, there's this thing.
Yeah, I like shelter and food. You know?
That's awesome.
So I transferred I finished, and then I don't know, I was making like $12 an hour working as a secretary, and I'm like, this is not going to pay my student loan. So
So here we are.
Got a teaching degree.
Okay. So we've been all over the place here. Teaching. We were going to be an actor to a teacher to now
drama teacher. That was.
Okay.
Drama. Still theater.
Here, the theater degree still would have been put to use.
So very good. This is a completely random question and more just curiosity on my end. So were you like in did you get into plays? Like, did you?
Yeah, I have been like when I was younger. I mean, I'm 41 now. I basically was an actor from the time I was in high school all the way up to 29, I think was my last gig.
Okay.
Oh,
like a long time.
That is a long time.
And then when I started teaching more and more, I was tired and like I didn't have time for that. So I was paying off my student loan.
That is so funny to me.
The dreadful student loan.
It's a thing. Like
it's a thing.
Yeah,
it's a thing.
It's funny. I have a science degree that I don't use.
I always tell people I got a degree in hockey.
Oh, nice.
I just played university hockey.
You have a degree you don't use.
No, I think I got criminology and family social science degree.
I know when you say it out loud, it sounds worse.
Yeah, it's like, oh, baby.
So did you, as a theater kid, did you play sports growing up as well? Were you?
Yeah, there was back in the day, I think it was the 80s. There was a flyer that went home to my kindergarten class, and it was a girl playing ringette.
Okay.
Because it was back when they had posters. Yeah. You know? and I just went up to my dad. I'm like, I want to be like her. And so I was a ringette player up until I was about 16, and then I stopped playing. But I was rep ringette player. Yeah. So practice 3 times a week and games on Saturdays and Sundays, and I did that for a while and tired my parents out.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. So when you ended up joining the military, did you know that this was an option? Did you know that being a part of all these sports teams and this whole world existed?
I had no clue.
Yeah.
Like I had no, I feel like in BC, they're probably doing a better job now, but they're not they don't advertise as well. Okay. And my husband even said that as well. Like he noticed that. Mm-hmm. They're not as present out there. Okay. But I'm sure it's changed in the since social media. But yeah, when I joined the reserves in 2015, then I started getting like, oh, people are, PSP exists, and like there's these facilities I can use, and there's discounts, and yeah, I started to kind of find out that way.
So was that your entry into hockey? You're like, okay, I'm going to put gear on and try a new sport?
So this is the first time I've ever been able to play organized hockey and actually get hockey, like real hockey instruction.
Yep.
When I was at university, I played like drop in and like really crummy.
Yeah.
It was, like same with ringette. Like there was coaches, but they were volunteer dad coaches. And so, I mean, just the other day we had like a real, like I think he's a coach of the Cowichan Capitals now. He came in and did some instruction for us.
Yeah.
And I think he actually played in the NHL. So
there we go.
I was like, this is sweet.
Yeah, to learn from people.
And I've been skating since I'm 41 and I've been skating since I was 4. And he's like, you're skating wrong. I'm like, oh.
That is the thing.
Cool.
So it's like little tiny things like that you get exposed to that are perks.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, for sure. And to think of the thing I love, like you're saying, you started skating when you're 4 and now you're still skating when you're 41. Like there is an entire life to be lived through sport, and you get to live that through the military. Like that is so fascinating to me in the sense of like, you're here because of that opportunity you were given through work.
Yes. It's like, I've been taking selfies in the dressing room and, bragging. Like, even though I don't play as much ice time as the superstars on our team, I still contribute and, like, brag a bit to my family.
That's right.
Got
to.
Yeah. So let's talk about your team, because I think that's an important part of this. So tell us about what hockey looks like for you guys as a team on a regular basis. Are you together? Do you get to play often together?
Yeah. There's a lot of practices. We did have a coach coming in to like give us some pointers recently. So we were fixing up power plays and penalty kills.
Sure.
And, we have a couple of varsity players. I think you can, if you haven't seen them, you'll see them soon.
You'll see them.
They're everywhere. But yeah, like they've been, really helpful, and just a lot of key players on the team that are taking on manager roles and extra responsibilities. And I think that has been a big factor in us winning. Is because we're all these little things. We do everything together, and like,
So let's stay on that note.
Yeah.
Let's stay on we do everything together. I mean, we know we are team sport people as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the most teams are the most successful teams. We've talked about that from the Olympics perspective, where Canada, you kind of got this gut instinct that they were going to win because they felt so cohesive.
Yes.
So talk to us about that feeling and how your team has come together. We know that there's different ranks in the military. So talk to us about how you feel like your team has done that.
First of all, Bree, number 18, she's basically worn 2 hats and has taken on a coaching and a manager role. And, she plays too. Mm-hmm. Putting lines together. Everyone knows their role. We have, people getting ice packs or holding the gate open or, we talk about our group warm up, that kind of thing. And it's organized, and we feel like we know where we're supposed to be and what our job is.
Totally.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I love that. I love the similarities between of camaraderie of team and sport and military, because I feel like that's been, everybody just is like, we're all here. We're together. We're getting it done.
Yep.
And they feel that in their everyday life, right? Being a part of the military. I love the way that they intersect so seamlessly.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely. And sorry, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say teamwork is like instilled in you through basic training. It's like, do everything together. Don't leave anybody behind. Make sure it's all the same. Like you're,
Yeah.
And have you had any experiences like personally where, and we're not super familiar with all the ranks and trades and things, but where you've at least got to work within your team, people that you may not have worked
totally.
with?
Yeah. Like the networking, the people you meet, like it's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And like you end up having friends across the country.
Yeah.
And it's different than like your civilian friends or like friends for life. Like there's a couple of girls I went to course with, and like I rarely ever see them, but when I do see them, it's like no time has passed.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's that kind of sense too.
And I kind of like, I think we identify, or I'm going to say myself and not speak for you, but in the sense that when you find people for us in sports, so whether it's like we're hockey people by design, but if you meet, like we've had all sorts of things, squash, javelin, volleyball, basketball, all sorts. It's like sport is the uniter, and I think you're saying that is military is the uniter. In that way, where even if you don't see them all the time, that you're like-minded and understand what each other go through in that way.
I think because like everyone's been through the same basic training, it's sort of instilled in you. I can't speak to anybody else's opinion, but that's what I see a lot.
Yeah,
for sure.
Very cool.
So let's because just touch on the process of deciding that the military was going to be the thing for you. Because I think we get into the sport aspect and the team aspect, and it is like through and through the message has been consistent that it is a phenomenal place. But like, what was that process for you thinking like basic training? Did you just go into a recruitment office
I spent a lot of time online first researching the jobs, and I knew the one I wanted right away. But I didn't life happens, and like you have to figure out how to take care of your family. And like I'm married, I have 2 kids. So factoring them in as well. Once I had first applied, my offer came 3 days after I accepted a teaching offer. So, and then financially, I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to go with that.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
So it's just, I think, a timing, life, right?
Yeah.
Stages of life for me are different for somebody in their early 20s.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
So,
are you in the job you thought you wanted? I know you said you're aspiring to do a training.
Yeah. So speaking of education, when I was private and I was working at a reserve army unit, I stumbled online about the, I forget what it's called, having a brain fart. There's a program, it's called the ILP, Independent Learning Program, and I applied for it. And then I began my master's degree when I started my reserve basic training.
Okay.
So I was teaching full-time in reserve basic training, starting a master's degree. And then...
You got a couple. Is that when you have kids too?
No.
Oh, okay.
So that's a funny story.
Cool. Can't wait.
So I went through basic training. It was 2016. I had started all of this. 2017, I was finishing my master's degree because as soon as the military kicked in some money, I was able to take 2 courses at a time and expedite my degree. And then as soon as I landed in BC from Borden, after the day after my course started, I got pregnant with twins.
The twin package.
Yeah.
The package deal.
So I was like,
your timing is impeccable through this entire thing.
It was just like, wow, okay. So I'm waddling across the stage getting my master's degree. And, I'm still in the military. I just become a corporal at that point. I have a picture of me with this giant belly and my pregnancy Capt pants.
That's a memory.
They literally put a waistband in the camo pants for pregnant women.
Oh, no way.
So I have a picture of me with my
no way.
My spandex combats.
How flattering.
It was very flattering.
Very flattering.
So for me, it was, I wanted to go beyond my just being a school teacher. I always wanted to be into instructional design, but, I had 2 babies to take care of and life happened. And then we moved to the island because Langley is too expensive. And I was like, I'm not buying a $700,000 or $800,000 townhome. It's just not going to happen. So we moved to the island in 2019 and the pandemic hit. And I was like, I think I'm just going to CT. And so I started seriously thinking about that. So I went from A class into a B class contract. And then when the pandemic hit, I was ready to accept my CT. And I literally went from a teaching paycheck into a armed forces paycheck. And I haven't looked back since.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Your timing is wild. I'm just I'm doing the timeline in my brain right now, the whole story.
I've had a really weird journey, but I mean, I think the CAF actually talks about this thing called the journey for people. And so, yeah, like it's making it easier to go between reserve and reg and like depending on your life stages and all that kind of stuff. So when I moved to the island, that's when I came across one of my supervisors was actually playing on this team, Ash Taylor, I think. Yeah. And she plays for Ottawa now.
Okay.
And she told me to join the team. And I was like, really? Like, I'm like 40 years old. Like, can I play on a team? I'm like,
can I do
with
this?
20-year-olds?
Do this?
Yeah.
But, you know, it's inclusive and, you know, they give everybody a role, like I said. So
very cool.
That's when I got involved in the hockey again, because I took a break for a while.
I think like the instructional design piece sings to my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
And my mom will listen to this podcast. And so shout out to my mom because this is also her jam.
Oh yeah.
Her, you know, she's got a PhD in education and her thesis was how to implement with tradespeople, how to teach them to teach basically.
Oh yeah.
And so it sings to my heart. So in the military, I want to ask a question about that. Like if you, in terms of instructional design and wanting to be in this, what did you call it? A training?
They're training and development officers. So they work on training plans, I guess. I'm not trained yet in training and development. So notice how I'm saying yet. CAF, if you're listening, make me a training and development officer.
Hey, CAF, we're calling on you.
But yeah, that was always my goal.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get experience in it.
Sure.
Because it didn't help that I had 2 babies at once after I graduated, but
you know, but we've also talked about, I think that's, and I know we're kind of bumping on time here because we got to end up seeing these all together, but you hit a note there because we've talked about that. So just from a women perspective in a lot of sport roles, when you just said it's hard to get experience in it.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
And that's that's a sweeping statement in a lot of areas, right? If you don't give someone who is qualified an opportunity to gain experience, how do they get the role?
Yeah.
And so I think that also rings true in this.
Definitely. And like we have these elite players and then we have, you know, beer league players like me. And we're all getting a chance to actually, you know, work with awesome coaches and like get pointers from these players that are just incredible.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah. And the CAF gave us that opportunity.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So before we wrap up here, because you're right, we got to think about timing on this a little bit. But when you think about, like, we've given everybody an opportunity to just shout out.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out anything about the CAF, about your experiences.
Any message you want the listeners to hear.
If you have any inkling, like you think you're interested, just go for it. Because I went through basic training at age, 33 or something, or 32. I can't remember. And, you know, I was one of the old birds, but I made it through. And you can too. And you just put your heart into everything you do and you can go as far as you want to go.
Very true.
Yeah.
Cool.
Amazing.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to be here.
It's my first podcast.
Yes. And hopefully you had fun. I know it's been fun for us. We continue to learn. Everyone on the show so far today has had a very different story. So thanks for sharing yours.
Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for taking the time. We really, really appreciate it. Wow. What just happened? What just happened?
That was one of my favorite Beauties days.
Honestly, that was incredible.
There's almost nothing. I know it's not your favorite thing, but if I could be a lifelong student, I would be. Like, I really enjoy learning. I really enjoy adding things to my toolbox.
Yeah, that's right.
And today was super rewarding, but I also, like, we just learned all day long.
All day. And when it's one thing to be in a classroom and hear all these different things. It's another thing to learn through people's experiences and stories and their life and how they've got to where they have using sport. And it's like, holy man, every single woman that sat down with us today had a different story, different path, different everything.
Yeah.
Common denominator, sports.
Yeah.
And inclusive sports.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
We've said it before on different podcasts, but I'm so grateful. And the world, the universe, we've said that before, if you listen to it, is a really cool thing. When something points you in a direction, just run with it. That's how we ended up here. Yeah. The original goal was to just have a podcast with a couple people. And instead, we had 2 guests from Edmonton and Jena and Alex. We had 2 guests from Winnipeg and MP and Gabby. We had 2 guests from Cold Lake and Marissa and Stéphany. And we had 1 guest from Esquimalt in Evelyn. And
Beauties.
Man, I'm so great. Yeah. Thank you to them. Another, we've said it to all of them as they left the room, but thank you for an incredible day and for teaching us something.
Yeah. We are so grateful. There's no other way of saying it. We just feel so connected to the stories, and we hope that if anything, we shined a light on your journeys, your pathway, and encouraged a lot of people to really look into this life and encouraged people and showed another side of it, and showed the advantages of being a part of our armed forces.
Yeah, I wish we could just have a beer with them all.
I just want to pack the room. Let's pack the room for everybody that was here. Let's pack the room, bring them all in. We've got to watch a game here again, too. Yeah, exactly. It's a great atmosphere, but to say one thing, to end off this incredible day, is I feel so the camaraderie piece that we felt today from every single person that came, that, lent us some of their day to talk about how incredible they feel in their job, in their life, how fortunate they feel to be able to be here. The fact that we could even be a sliver of this experience for you is a pleasure for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what a blessing. Yeah. And let's get real. We had someone who held a world record. We had a 3-time world champion or world
broomball. Yeah, let's get real. It's unbelievable. Today was fantastic and
so fun.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, because we just absolutely loved this experience.
I would keep going. Yeah, no, I agree. And so I know we said it off the top, and we know that this is a little bit longer of an episode, but it's worth you putting your ears to it for an hour and 20 minutes or however long this ends up being. We've said it on past episodes. We're going to say it again on this one. If this is your first episode at Beauty Sports, which it might be, because I think there's going to be some new ears to it, thanks for joining us. If you've been here for a long time, thanks for coming back. The best way, like we said off the top, that really, really helps new people find this podcast is by going into Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to this episode, and leaving a rating, 5 stars only, and a review. That's really what the algorithm needs to get it out into the world. And if you haven't already, head on over to Instagram. You can follow us at Beauty Sports Talk. You can find Addie at Addie Miles Abbott. You can find me at Cowie 14. There's going to be lots of clips of this episode coming out in the world. You might even see some on TikTok, so go and find us over there. And like you said at the top of the show, if you're looking for some new merch like Addie's sweater, my hat, there's a bunch more stuff up there. Head on over to beautysports.com/shop and pick something up. We hope if you rock some Beauties merch out in the world, make sure you tag us on social media and use the hashtag #BeABeauty so we can find everybody.
Absolutely. So thank you guys so much for an amazing day. And Cowie, final words.
I don't know how much more I can add. Again, we're just so grateful to the 7 women that joined us. Thank you for your time, efforts, for your service. We so appreciate the stories that you shared. We hope that this opens some eyes and ears to the possibilities of continuing a life in sports and also serving this great country that we love so much. So we appreciate you all for being here, and we hope you come back to next week's episode. Ads, my friend, always a slice.
Thank you all, and we'll see you next week.